Hello everyone and welcome. Get started in just a couple of minutes. So this class is going to be a chair and standing yoga practice. So you don't need a yoga mat, you don't need any other special equipment or special clothing. All things can be done seated in a chair or standing. So welcome everyone. This class is sponsored by the Corktown Health Center and will be a gentle chair and standing practice. Welcome everyone. Take a moment to get settled. Sitting comfortably in a chair or on the floor. And I know that it has been a difficult time lately, and if you're watching this later, there might be various other things going on in your life or in the world. With everything with the pandemic and the election, be very overwhelming. So today's practice is going to be focused on soothing, kind of calming our nervous system, which are very stressed and overactive right now. And to work with this, we're going to look at a concept in yoga called the gunas. So Gunas. There are 3 gunas. The idea is that they are like qualities of nature, states of being. And they are found in ancient yogic texts like the Yoga Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita. And there are 3 main qualities of nature. There is Rajas, R-A-J-A-S, which translates as activity, action, movement. And there's tamas, T-A-M-A-S, which translates as inertia or inaction. And then sattva, S-A-T-T-V-A, which translates as balance or harmony. So in our culture overall, I would say we are very rajasic. We have a lot of rajas in our culture. A lot of go, 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 busy, 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 right? Productivity, got to keep up, this like hustle culture that can be really debilitating and exhausting, and there's a lot of burnout. So that's going on anyways, and then pile a pandemic on top of it, pile natural disasters, pile very divisive politics, pile on racial injustice, and it's just bringing everything more and more to a head. So there's this high rajasic quality right now of a lot of energy, anxiety, movement. So too much rajas comes out in anxiety, in high stress, in anger. That's rajasic. And then the opposite is tamas, or tamasic is the adjective. And that might manifest if you're feeling so overwhelmed, like you're withdrawing from everything. You're like, I just can't handle this anymore. And you're drawing inward. Maybe you're feeling depressed, feeling tired, low energy. Those are characteristics of too much tamas. So we want to find a balance between rajas and tamas. We need a little bit of both. We need movement, we need action, and we need rest. We need to be still. And when we have those in balance, That's sattva. That's this quality of everything kind of being in harmony, equal amounts of rajas and tamas. So today we're going to work on addressing imbalances in rajas and tamas and trying to find sat. So to start, sometimes it can be helpful to meet the mood where it is. So ideally, right, if you're feeling very high stress, very high anxiety, we want to do very gentle, calming, grounding things. And then, so doing the opposite. And then the same thing if we're feeling really low, if we're feeling tamasic, we want to do energizing things. We want to get rajas in there. We want to get movement. But sometimes it can be really hard to start, right? Like if you're feeling really tired and down, you don't necessarily want to do, go run 3 miles or do 10 sun salutations, right? That could be too much. Or same thing, if you're feeling really jittery, really anxious, and someone says, okay, we're gonna do this yoga pose and just hold it for 5 to 7 minutes. You might be like, oh my God, I can't sit still for that long. So what we're gonna do to start is meet the mood, is we're gonna start with some movements, some kind of fast things that can help with rajas, with feeling anxious, jittery, to help disperse it, to help burn it off, let it go. So we're just gonna do some gentle shaking of our whole body, or whatever part of your body you want to. Now, if you're feeling pretty low energy, maybe you just stay seated, maybe you just kind of shake out your hands, maybe it's just one part. But if you're feeling really rajasic, really anxious, maybe really upset, high way up here, maybe you come to standing and you do some like whole body shaking, right? Of kind of lifting the legs, shaking them out, shaking the arms and the shoulders. So whatever level of movement that you want to do, that's fine. Find that for you. And I invite you to also add in some sighs. Sighing out through the mouth. And again, this could be done seated or standing, having a lot of movement or a little. It's kind of up to you. Sometimes I like to just keep my feet in place and kind of gently shake my whole body up and down. You could also lift your arms up and exhale them out and down with a sigh. You could do this from seated as well. Just taking maybe a minute more just to kind of let it go. So again, if you're feeling really high stress, this high level of rajas, maybe some faster movements to really let it out. And if you're feeling low energy, then just start small. Just kind of maybe just some shoulder shrugs. And just taking a few more moments wherever you are. And begin to settle. Taking a few more sighs out. If you're standing, come to seated, gently and slowly. We'll work a little bit on grounding here. We'll inhale up through the left side of our body, all the way up from the foot to the top of the head. And then imagine as you exhale, you're exhaling from the top side of the right, all the way down through the right side of the body, out through the right foot. Inhaling up through the left, to the top of the head. Exhaling down the right side. Feeling points of contact with the chair underneath you or the floor underneath you. Feeling grounded and stable. So this grounding, taking a moment to feel sensation, is really important if we are feeling a lot of anxiety right now, a lot of uncertainty. And to meet the tamasic mood, where again that's the low mood, feeling slow, tired, depressed, down. We're going to just start with some gentle neck movements. And even if you're feeling kind of high stress with our neck, we want to be slow and gentle, so we don't want to do these fast. We're just going to start with some rotations. We're going to inhale and grow tall, and exhale, gently gaze over your right shoulder. Any amount, turning your head, trying to keep your chin parallel with the floor. And then inhale, come back to center, and exhale over to the other side. Take a breath or two here, and then slowly, when you're ready, come back to center. Beginning to lengthen and deepen your breath now. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale to grow tall and lengthen the spine, the neck, the top of the head. Exhale, gaze over your right shoulder. Trying to keep your chin lifted so it's not dropping down. Shoulders relaxing down. One more breath here. And then slowly with your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale over to the other side. Not forcing your head to turn, just turning as much as you need. And then slowly coming back to center. So now we'll do a lateral or side stretch. So inhale, grow tall. Exhale, bring your right ear down towards your right shoulder, stretching the left side of your neck. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, inhale, growing tall. And exhale, left ear towards your left shoulder. Trying to keep the shoulders moving down the back. Gently stretching the right side of the neck here. Just breathing into the neck. Notice what you feel. And with your next inhale, let your head lift. So we're going to do that one more time. When you're ready, with your next exhale, right ear down towards your right shoulder. And this time with the option of bringing your right hand gently on your head and reaching your left fingertips down and out at an angle. Really activating your arm, reaching through your fingers. But if this doesn't feel good, if this is too much, just bring your hands down. Do it like we did the first time. Notice your chin here. Is it dropping in towards your chest? See if you can lift it a little bit. And then slowly release your hands and slowly lift your head. And then gently move with your exhale to the other side. Taking a few breaths here. If you want, you can add in the hands. But it might feel good on one side, but not the other. That's okay. Breathing here deep and even, if you can, breathing in and out through your nose. And then slowly lifting the head, arms come down. Let's do a few shoulder rolls. Inhale up, exhale back. One more. And then just letting the hands rest in the lap. We'll do some extension and flexion with the neck. So with your next inhale, lift your chin, keeping the back of your neck long and your shoulders down. So any amount, lifting your chin, gazing up at the ceiling. And then with your next exhale, drop your chin to your chest, stretching the back of the neck. Taking one more breath here. And then slowly coming up. Just bring your head back to center. So now I'm going to invite you to do a dynamic movement with these two positions. So with your inhale, you'll lift up. With your exhale, you'll drop down. But we're still moving with a long, smooth, slow back breath. And we're trying to let the breath guide or lead the movement. So not rushing it, just moving gently. So when you're ready, with your next inhale, lengthening your whole spine, and then begin to lift your chin, lift your gaze up. Shoulders stay down. And exhale when you're ready, chin to your chest. Do a couple more of these on your own, at the pace of your own breath. And I'm going to add another layer in a moment. So the next time that you're lifting up, sweep your arms back, palms facing back, and begin to move your whole chest. So your chest is puffing forward, and your arms are coming back. Your shoulder blades are squeezing together on your back. Throat is still open. The next exhale now, rounding, bending your elbows. Imagine you're giving someone a big hug, palms facing in, rounding your whole spine, drawing your navel in. Take a couple of breaths here. Chin still drops to the chest. And then we're going to move one breath, one movement here. So inhale, sweep the arms back, gazing up, chest forward. Exhale, round. Pelvis tilts back, navel draws in, chin to the chest. Keep going on your own, finding this rhythm with your breath guiding. So going nice and slow with this can help meet the low mood or low energy we might feel. And then, but doing it dynamically, meaning flowing with the breath, can help the rajas, that anxiety you might feel, because we're keeping it moving, right? We're keeping energy or prana flowing. And we'll do one more round and we'll end after your next exhale. And then come up to sit tall. And just checking in how you're feeling, trying to move a little bit more towards that sattvic stance, that balanced place. And let's connect more with our breath. Just bring one hand to your belly and your chest and see if you can begin to notice some movement under your hands as you're breathing. Let's work with wave breath. So as we're inhaling, we're letting our top hand rise and then our bottom hand. And then as we exhale, we let our our bottom hand fall and then our top hand. So inhale, let the top hand rise and then the bottom hand. Exhale, bottom hand falls and then the top. See if you can find this pattern, keep going on your own. It's not a big movement, it's just slight. And think about how when you're inhaling, your lungs are filling with air, your ribs are expanding out to the sides. And then when you exhale and all of the air comes out of your lungs, your ribs draw in a little, right? So an expansion on the inhale and a slight contraction or drawing inward on the exhale. So a few more breaths following the wave breath pattern. Inhaling, top hand rises and then bottom. Exhaling, bottom hand falls and then the top. You may close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Now I invite you to take a moment to set an intention. What will help you find sattva, find balance for the rest of your day? And when you're ready, bring your hands down to your legs. So if you're feeling, if you were feeling really rajasic, really stressed, high anxiety, agitated to start, hopefully now that breathing began to help you settle. But if you're still feeling like antsy, hard to sit still, we'll do some more dynamic movement. And this one is great too because it involves what's called bilateral stimulation or bilateral coordination of doing opposite arm and leg movements. And that's really good for our brain, for the two hemispheres of our brain to work together. It's good for learning and concentration. It helps us process traumas, things that are going on in the body, emotions. It helps the body and the brain and the nervous system function more optimally. And if you're feeling low energy, this can be a gentle way to begin to lift that energy up. So we're going to do this seated. Make sure that you have space around you, in front of you, out to the sides a little bit so you won't hit anything. And we're going to lift our legs out in front of us. And now if it's hard for you to really engage the core and lift the legs straight out, the knees could be bent, or you could keep the feet down and just do the arm part that I'm going to describe. And then you're going to reach your arms out. So you're kind of in a V shape with your legs and your arms. And you're going to inhale here. And then with your exhale, you're going to cross your right arm on top of your left, forming an X, and your left ankle on top of your right. So opposite arm and leg. And then inhale, open up again. Exhale, right leg on top and left arm on top. Inhale, open up. Now keep going on your own, trying to crisscross the opposite way. And again, if it's too much to have the legs straight out, you could do it with the legs a little bit bent. Or you could keep the feet on the floor and just switch the cross of your arms. So you're going nice and slow. Take a break if you need to. If this is fatiguing your arms or your legs, take a break. And have fun with this. You might notice that it takes a lot of concentration and focus. Like our body just naturally wants to do the same side on top. See if we can do a couple of more. Inhaling open and exhaling across. One more on each side. And then rest. Good job, everyone. And you'll notice that's also building a little heat, right? We're engaging the muscles of our arms and legs. You might feel that heat building, the arms and leg muscles firing up. So let's take a couple more shoulder rolls here. Peeling up, exhaling back. And Let's take an inhale and bring our arms up. And exhale out with a sigh as the hands come down. Let's do this 2 more times. For this last one, pause for a moment. I invite you to think about what is feeling stuck or what is getting in the way of you finding balance. And we're going to imagine letting that go with our exhale. And with our inhale, imagine that you're bringing in more of that balance, finding that harmony between action and inaction, rajas and tamas. You're finding the sattva. So inhale, bring in the balance. Exhale, let go of the imbalance. Let's do that one more time with the visualization. Inhale, bring in the balance. Exhale, let go of whatever is stuck. Good. And from here, let's bring our body into a gentle twist. So just moving gentle and slow. We'll inhale our arms up. And then exhale, twist over to your right. So your right hand would come behind you, holding onto the back of your chair somewhere. And then your left hand would come to your right knee. And again, check in with your chin here. If it's dropping down, can you gently lift it up? Just take one more breath and not forcing your body to twist. It could just be slightly to the side. And then with your next inhale, we're going to come to center and lift our arms and exhale to the other side. This time the left hand to the back of your chair and then your right hand is coming to your left knee. Breathing gently here. Check in with your back shoulder. If it's hunching up by your ear, can you gently release it down? And when you're ready, we'll slowly come back up through center. This time, let's interlace our fingers and press our palms up, really reaching up and activating through the palms, activating the arms. And let's take a side stretch from here, keeping this hand position. Inhale to grow tall, exhale, slight side stretch over to the right. Inhale, lift up, exhale, over to the left. Inhaling up, and now exhale, side out and fold. Come down to maybe your knees, and you can stay about halfway down, especially if you're taking care of your low back or have high blood pressure that's unmedicated or glaucoma, various health conditions, or if you get dizzy where you might not want to bring your head lower than your heart, you would just stay here where you're about halfway down. And if it feels okay on your back and for your body to round and bring your head down lower and slide your hands down your legs, you could do that. And just pause for a few breaths in this forward fold. So taking a few moments, just turning inward. So this is especially helpful to begin to calm that nervous energy or that high rajas. If you're feeling really low and this feels like too lethargic, if you're already tamasic, you don't want to bring in too much more of that tamasic energy. So you might come up halfway and you could add dynamic movement in. Exhale down, inhale up halfway, right? To get a little more activating energy. But if you started out more rajasic, more anxious or upset, just hold it. But continue to breathe. Don't hold your breath. Still continuing that deep, even breathing. We'll take about 2 more breaths with whatever you're doing. If you're folding in, slowly come up to your knees. Come up halfway, long spine, engaging your core. Lift yourself up with a nice tall spine. So now we'll come to standing. We'll use our chair in a moment, but for now you can move it to the side. And we're going to find our version of mountain pose. So feet under the hips, rooting down evenly in the balls and the heels. And it might be nice to kind of sway back and forth for a moment, side to side. Kind of find our center, find that sense. And then press down through the balls of the feet and the heels of the feet evenly, and lift all of your toes for a moment. Lift your toes, see if you can spread them out nice and wide, and then press all of the toes nice and long back down. So try not to scrunch up the toes. Palms are forward, growing tall through your spine, reaching up through the top of your head. So feeling strong and stable like a mountain here. Feeling anchored, feeling grounded. So important when we're feeling very rajasic, very frantic, very stressed out and overwhelmed. So this can be done, any time of day, no matter what you're doing. Just take a pause. Come to mountain pose. Take a few deep breaths. And let's do something that we did earlier, seated, where we're going to inhale up through the left foot, up the left side of the body to the top of the head, and exhale down the right side of the body. So just imagining this, and you could do this with your eyes open or closed. Inhale up from your left sole of your foot, up the left side of your body, all the way up to the top of your head. Exhale down the right side, all the way down through the sole of your right foot. Do a couple more on your own. So the reason we go up through the left is in yoga, there's different energy channels in the body, nadis they're called. And the energy channel on the left side, called the Ida, has more calming, grounding energy. It's associated with the moon, lunar energy, and it really helps us feel calm and grounded. So we're trying to increase that. And then the right side energy is called the Pingala. That's that main energy channel on the right side. And that energy is solar. It's governed by the sun. It's more uplifting, energizing. So you could think of it maybe a little more rajasic, and the left side more tamasic. So here we're trying to ground. So we're increasing that left side energy. And now let's add in a little movement. So we'll do the sides that we did when we did seated. We'll do a couple of those, and then we'll add in something else. So inhale, lift up, draw in your balance, bring it in. Exhale, sigh out, whatever you want to let go of, whatever feels stuck. Inhale, bring in your sattva. Exhale, release your imbalance, release those gunas, those qualities that are creating that imbalanced energy. One more time. Just letting your arms kind of sway down. So now I'm going to invite you to fold forward with your next exhale when you sigh out. So I'll just show you from the side, and you can use your chair if you want. So if you don't want to come down all the way to a standing forward fold for some of those reasons I mentioned before, unmedicated high blood pressure, glaucoma, dizziness, other health conditions where you don't want to invert, bring your head lower than your heart, you could rest on your chair seat. So hands on the chair seat and just coming about halfway down. And it's fine to bend your knees as you do this. If it feels okay to fold deeper, you might not use the chair, but you could fold in more, bring your head towards your legs and the crown of your head towards the floor. And again, you could still bend your knees. So we're going to, again, think about inhaling in what we want to use to find balance, and then exhaling out what feels stuck, what's getting in the way of us finding balance. So inhale up, and exhale out as you fold. So I'll just use the chair, taking a breath or two here, either in your forward fold or in your half forward fold. And again, if you feel like you're feeling pretty low energy and you need to wake up, you want to lift the mood, maybe you do some dynamic movement here where you come up a little higher on your inhale, exhale, fold in a little more. But if you're already feeling pretty agitated, or like you were to start with, have that high rajas, then I invite you just to hold, just to draw inward. Maybe your hands come to the backs of your legs, or you find opposite elbows. And you don't have to touch the ground, right? We're trying to let go of goals. That's part of, I think, our culture of like go, 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 productivity, that has to be these goals in our yoga practice. But really, we're just trying to tune into what our body needs. So we're gonna slowly come up now. We're gonna roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae, being very slow and gentle, a little softness in the knees, but the legs are strong. Come up to standing. Let's shake out our legs for a moment because we've been standing in one place. And we're going to do another fold and add a twist this time. And this time our fold is going to be wider. So you could come to a couple of feet apart. If you want to go really wide, you could do that. Check in with your toes that they're pointing forward. If you'd rather keep it shorter, that's fine too. Find what's right for you. And you might want to have your chair in front of you, like we did before, to rest your hands on if it's better just to come halfway. So we're going to inhale with our hands on our hips this time to start, and grow tall. And then exhale, hinge from your hips, fold down, either all the way or halfway down. And you want to rest your hands on something this time. So if you can't comfortably reach the ground, you could bend your knees, or you could just come up to the chair. If you happen to have a yoga block or another prop handy and you want to reach your hand to that prop, you could do that as well. So I'm going to bring my left hand to the center of the chair. So it's also in the center of my chest and kind of lined up with the chair. And then I'm going to inhale and lift my right arm up. And as I do this, I'm going to bend my left knee a little bit so I can really open up from my whole body, so I'm not forcing my hips to stay down. And this allows a little more twist with my whole spine. Take a couple of breaths here, lengthen your neck, draw your shoulders down your back. Now, if this is too much for you, you could just do a smaller twist, right? Your gaze could be down, your arm might just be out to the side a little. And with your next exhale, wherever you are, slowly bring your right hand down. Place your right hand in the middle of the chair, under your chest, and then inhale and lift the left arm up. So I'm bending my right knee a little bit here, my right hip's coming down, and I'm really opening up with the left side of my body. If it's okay on your neck, your gaze can be up at your left hand. But again, don't force it, and try to keep your neck long and your shoulder blades down your back so they're not punching up like this, but rather lengthening the neck, shoulder blades down. With your next exhale, come down, fold in for a moment, whatever that looks like for you. And now this time with a nice tall spine, hands to your hips, long spine, come up. So we're using our core strength when we have the straight spine to lift up. So now just shaking it out again here. Let's use our chair for a couple of poses now. So we're going to come so that we're facing away from the chair and we have the back of the chair handy. We're going to walk a little bit away from the chair. And we're going to check in with our feet that they are about hip distance apart. We're going to gently press our hips forward, begin to puff up our chest like we did at the beginning when we were doing the seated cat and cow. And then we're going to begin to lift our gaze, open our throat, lift our chin, try to keep the back of our neck still long so it shouldn't feel compressed. One more breath here. And push your hips forward. Lift up from your low back. When you're ready, calming down. Release your hands, do a couple shoulder rolls. So that was camel pose. It was a standing camel pose. And camel pose, in other back bends, like when we were seated and we did this back bend, which is like a seated cow pose, they're really good for lifting energy and lifting mood. So they are good to help balance tamas, that low energy, that lift up. And that's not to say if you're feeling rajasic not to do back bends, but maybe doing them a little smaller, maybe the seated cow pose versus the standing camel, which is even more activating. Or if you have yoga practice where you do yoga on the mat, doing more supported, gentle back bends rather than deeper, more intense back bends, because they could aggravate that rajas, that high energy, even more. So let's do one more round of camel if that feels okay for you. If you're still feeling really agitated, maybe you skipped the second one and do a forward fold instead. Again, that's going to be more grounding and calm the energy. So hand to the back of the chair, walk away from the chair, toes forward, feet are like mountain pose. Begin to gently lift up. So engaging the legs, lift up from the low back, slight engagement in the glutes and the belly here. We want to lengthen up and then begin to lift the heart, lift the gaze, open the throat. Back of the neck long, shoulders still staying down. One more breath, so not holding your breath, still continue to breathe. And slowly coming back to center. So now we're going to face our chair. And we're going to do what's sometimes called a chair down dog. Depends on the height of your chair. It might be more of like a half lift or a half forward fold rather than a down dog. But I'll also show you on the wall in a moment. So you're going to have your chair in front of you, hands on the chair, and walk away from it. Feet are at least hip distance apart. They could even be wider here. Feel free to bend your knees if you need to. Walk back as much as you need. And you might want to make sure that your chair is braced against something. If it's on, wheels or something, be very careful. You don't want it to roll away. Push your hips back, lengthen your spine. If it feels okay on your head and your neck, maybe you let your head fall between your arms and gaze back at your legs. Breathe into your back, into your chest, your armpits. Breathe into the backs of your legs, your glutes. One more breath here. And when you're ready, slowly begin to lift up, very gentle and slow, and walk forward. Good. And so on the wall, for more of a down dog, so down dog, if you're familiar with it on the mat, your arms are more up overhead. So you would come higher than shoulder height, and you would begin to walk away. So from the side, it would look like this. And thinking about reaching back with your hips, long spine. Breathing here. And slowly, when you're ready, come up. So it's a great one to do if you just need a little break from sitting a lot. Just stand up and stretch your back. But we're often flexing our hips, or we are flexing our hips when we're sitting, and we're tightening our psoas. So it's also important to do some back bending like the camel pose to open up the front of the body. So we'll do one more thing standing, and then we'll do another pose that's really good for opening up the front of the body. So this is another dynamic movement pose of doing opposite arm and leg. So again, helps us get out of those ruminating thoughts out of our head, helps the right and left side coordinate together, work better together. If you think about when we're babies and we learn to crawl, we're doing that kind of movement, the opposite arm and leg. And this involves some balance. So if you need to, you could use your chair for support or a wall. I'm going to shift my weight over onto my right leg, and I'm going to begin to lift my left knee. My left hand is on my hip, or it could be down by my side, whatever feels better. And then I'm going to lift my opposite arm. And then I'm going to slowly come down. And then slowly shift the weight over to the other side. Begin to bend the knee, lift the leg. And you could just do it with toes on the ground, right? Lift the opposite arm. So if it doesn't feel good on your standing leg ankle or any other reason, you don't have to lift the toes all the way up. You can keep toes down, just lift your heel and come down. We're going to try to coordinate this with our breath. So inhale and lift up. Exhale, lower down. And opposite arm and leg. Inhale up. Exhale down. And really trying to lengthen the body. From your fingertips through your standing leg. Lengthen your spine. Move on your own with your breath. And I invite you to try going a little faster. So maybe you inhale one side, exhale the other side. Just see how that goes. Just have fun with it. And you might even find sometimes it's easier to balance when we move faster. And then when you're ready, come down, shake it out for a moment. So we're going to open up the body a little bit here with doing, instead of coming with the knee forward, we're going to push the foot back. So then we're going to lift the foot back behind us, kind of push it back, okay? And we're still going to lift the opposite arm. So when you're ready, let's shift the weight onto the right leg. Show you from the side. And then lift the left foot back and reach back. Make sure you have space behind you. Come back down slowly. And then move to the other side. Lift up, reach back, and come down. It doesn't have to be a big push back with the leg. So let's coordinate this with our breath. So inhale up and exhale, reach back and come down in the same exhale, okay? Inhale up, opposite arm and leg. Exhale, reach back and come down. Keep going on your own a couple more times. Again, use the wall for support if you need to, or your chair. Last one. And come down, shake it out. So we're going to come back to our chair now. And this next part, you'll need a chair without arms. If you don't have that, you could do this on the ground. I recommend having a blanket or a rug carpet underneath you. We're going to try some lunges. So with the chair, and I'll show the other version in a moment, you can also do it a standing lunge. You're going to sit sideways, and I'm going to, I'll turn this way, so I'm going to have my right leg be my bending leg first. So I'm going to scoot towards the front of my chair where my left glute is going to begin to come off the chair. My left knee is going to come down. And I'm going to begin to walk my left knee back. I might work on straightening the leg a little if that's okay. If not, the knee can stay bent. And then my right knee is bent, and I'm feeling this opening in my left hip flexor. I'm opening my psoas, and our psoas muscles are really deep and tend to be tight with sitting a lot. And then you could stay here with arms down, or you could lift your arms up. And you might add a little more back bend to it, especially if you want to lift the mood. You want to reduce tamas and increase rajas. But if you're already feeling pretty anxious or rajasic, maybe you just keep the hands down. You could bring your hands to heart center. And then we'll slowly come out of it. So if you're able to do this with your chair on the other side, you can do that. But if you weren't able to do it with a chair, I'll show a couple other options now. So move to the second side if you have a chair. If you don't have a chair, one way to do it standing is take a big step back with one leg, begin to bend your front leg, and my back heel is off of the ground here. So I'm balancing, and I could use the wall for support. Or if you have some padding under your knee, you could bring your knee down, so a kneeling lunge. And again, the hands could stay down, heart center, or lift up. And if your knee is down, you could kind of scoot it back for, again, more stretch in the quad and the psoas. So take a moment to do the pose on both sides. Take a few breaths on each side. And then when you're ready, and no rush if you're still moving, we'll slowly come back to sitting in our chair. Just checking in with our body, seeing how it feels. So we'll wrap up with some breath, and then I'll give you time to explore a little on your own, any last movements that you need. So we'll work with a breathing technique called Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So it involves placing your thumb on your right nostril to block it. And then we're going to use our last two fingers. We're not going to use our index finger or our middle finger. So they can either fold into our palm or they can come to our forehead. The idea is that we're not using them. So we start by blocking the right nostril with our thumb, and we inhale through the left. Then we block our left nostril with our last two fingers, our ring finger and our pinky, and we inhale just through the right. Then we block with our thumb and exhale left. Inhale left, block, exhale right. Inhale right, block, exhale left. Now, if you're congested and you can't do this, you can always just observe. Try your best you can. Inhale left, block, exhale right. Inhale right, block, exhale left. Inhale left, block, exhale right. Inhale right, block, exhale left. One more round. Inhale left, Lock, exhale right. Inhale right. Lock, and we'll end with exhaling left. Release your hand down, wiggle out your fingers, maybe close your eyes for a moment, or gaze away from the screen. Check in with your energy. Do you notice, do you feel prana moving through the body? Where do you notice it? How is it moving? And if it's hard to find it or connect with it, that's okay too. So alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana, which we just did, is another great one for working with the different hemispheres of the brain. Another great one for focus and concentration, getting us out of ruminating thought patterns. Very helpful for improving memory and helping with learning and cognition. There's been a number of research studies on it for this purpose. Also helpful for that anxious thinking, helpful for kind of getting out of like impulsive, kind of agitated thinking patterns or wanting to act on those. So it helps bring balance. It's a great sattvic breathing technique that helps bring balance to the right side energy and the left side energy. So from here, we're going to, I'll show you both left nostril breathing and then right nostril breathing. And you can choose which one that you need to do on your own. I'll give you some time to do it on your own. So left nostril breathing is just blocking the thumb on the right again. And inhale left, then block the left, exhale right. Block the right, inhale left, block, exhale right. So this one's actually simpler. It's just always inhaling through your left nostril. So again, that energy moving from the leg all the way up. And then exhale from the right. Think about that energy moving down and out. Inhale left, block, exhale right. So take a moment to maybe do one more round. Then bring your hands down for a breath or two. And then I'll show you the right nostril breathing. It's the opposite. So my ring finger and pinky finger cup to my left nostril to block them, and I inhale through just my right nostril. I block my right nostril with my thumb, and I exhale through the left. And I just repeat that. So blocking the left, inhale right. Block my right, exhale left. Again, inhaling right, exhale left. So this breathing pattern brings that right side energy upward. It's more activating and releases down and out through the left side. So if you started out today feeling very agitated, upset, angry, or anxious, I recommend doing a few rounds of the left nostril breathing. If you've been feeling really blue, down, low energy, I recommend the right nostril breathing. So take a few moments now on your own and do either the right or left nostril. Or if you're feeling like, maybe I feel pretty good with both, maybe do a few rounds of the alternate nostril breathing again. So up to you. And again, your middle finger and first finger are either in towards your palm or up to your forehead. Whatever you're choosing, going nice and slow, deep, long breaths. If you're about 2 more rounds. When you're ready, release your hand down, wiggle your fingers, just sit for a moment. Notice your energy, notice how you feel. And just as we wrap up, if there's any last movements that your body needs, again, thinking about if you're feeling a lot of rajas and you need to ground or settle, forward folds, drawing inward, rounding. If you're feeling low energy, tamas, and you want to activate, thinking back bends, opening up, side stretches, right? Where the calming would be forward folds or twisting. So take a few breaths, just a couple of breaths wherever you need to be. Do both sides if you need to. And wrapping up any last movements that you're doing. Coming back to center. And we'll end with just a few moments of sitting quietly in a meditation. And I invite you, if you're still feeling like you need more grounding, feeling too rajasic, you need to bring in more tamas to find sattva, to find balance. Bring your palms down on your legs. If you're feeling low energy still and you need more rajas, more movement to lift you up, to find sattva, to find balance, bring your palms up on your knees. And your eyes might close or gaze softly away from the camera. You might let go of control of the breath. Maybe it feels helpful to do that with a sigh. Feeling your face soften, your jaw soften, your shoulders soften. Back to your intention from the beginning. What was it that will help you find sattva, find your balance? Keep this intention and release it out into the rest of your day. When you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. Give yourself a moment of gratitude. Thanking yourself for deepening your yoga practice. And the light within me bows to and honors that same light within you. Namaste.